Looks like we should be getting there. Let's see what happens. See who gets it first.
Good
All
morning.
Right. We are live. We are hooked up. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Toad Hall Morning Show, January 18th, 2022.
There we go. My screen's finally not fuzzy now.
Yeah, it takes a minute.
Yeah. Kind of like it takes a minute for me to wake up.
That's right.
Or an hour or two.
Or an hour or two, yeah.
Right.
You know. Got a big old show for you guys today. We are talking, Annette is talking history of Blue Note. I have some awesome trade-ins. We've got new vinyl that came in yesterday on a Monday, which is kind of strange. And I got a lot of stuff to talk about. Talking blind record draw possibilities. We're talking about new vinyl, Valentine's packages, record store day starting, turntable prices. We got a lot to cover today.
We do have a lot to cover.
I have a lot to cover today. So everyone's kind of piling in here. Good morning, everybody. Everybody's piling in. I love seeing it. A lot of regulars, a lot of our friends piling back in.
That's right.
So before we get too far, we should probably give a shout out to Mark Ricotta. Oh, speaking of
John.
There's John coming on in. So Mark Ricotta was the founder of a Facebook group here locally called Rockford Vinyl Music News. And he grew the page to, 7,000 people, 5,000, 7,000. Pretty big. And it's a page that posts, local music stuff, historical music stuff locally, remember when, but also promotes new stuff, a little bit of album reviews, kind of everything. And he was a regular in our store, came in pretty much every Saturday.
At least, most of the time, at least once a week.
Yeah, pretty much every Saturday. Unfortunately, Mark passed this last Saturday. Well, about 10 days ago now. And so we want to say anybody in the local area, or we want to just say, our condolences to Mark. He was a great friend, a great customer, and he's going to be missed.
Yes.
So
Yes,
we had to get that. Had to give a little shout out to a guy that also helped push this channel. He always was a watcher. He would always watch.
Yeah.
He'd always share our show across the local net, and it was really cool to have someone on our side. And he's definitely going to be missed. So.
Yeah.
Say it's 57 in Branson, Missouri today. It's not that here. What is it outside? Like 30?
I didn't even look at this
It's
morning.
cold. We have a new clock. It doesn't say what temperature it is.
Well, my windows weren't frosty on my vehicle, so it's not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah. Not too bad. In other kind of music news, I got an email from one of our distributors this weekend, and they're like, hey, all these Audio-Technica turntables you have back ordered, just so you know, the prices are going up, and your prices are going up. Oh. They went up last year.
Not a day goes by that the price of something doesn't go up.
We have a couple left of the LP60s, but yeah, prices of everything's going up. Turntables again. They got price rose last year. They're going to raise again this year. It's just not going to go. It's just not going to stop.
No.
Pretty shocking, though. They hadn't raised their prices. Audio-Technica hadn't raised their prices probably eight years.
Wow.
And they raised it last year, and then they raised it twice. It's just nuts. That's Audio-Technica. I haven't heard of any other price increases from like Project yet, or like Soda. I haven't heard anything else, but usually when one does it, they all trickle down the line because they're all feeling the same pressures.
Right.
So that was certainly, obviously their big is fourth quarter 2022, so they're getting ready for the next year, Christmas year. That stuff's so back ordered that there's not going to be much between now and then.
No.
And they're already targeting the next Christmas season. So
wow.
It's already going to look different already next year. Yeah, people are saying I have the LP60s. They love it. Yeah, good thing you bought it because the price is only going up on them. We actually have anybody locally, or we can actually ship it.
Right.
We have an open boxed one right now with the headphones. Usually they're $150 new. We have an open box for $130. Anyone's looking for one. And we have a couple of the regular 160s for $140, brand new. So, in other news, NFL playoffs. Anybody else watch the Super Wild Card weekend?
I didn't.
Annette unfortunately has been down.
Yeah, I was
Want to
changing.
share your injury?
I messed up my back. Changing a bag in a garbage can.
Here in the store.
Yeah.
She went to pull the garbage bag out of the garbage can. By the way, this is not a big can. This is a smaller.
This is a small garbage can by the bathroom.
So it's not heavy. It wasn't heavy.
No, it wasn't even pulling the bag out. I was putting bags, spare bags, underneath the bag that was going in. I bent and I popped.
And that
So
had to go home early.
And I've been off and probably go home early today. And I've been seeing the chiropractor, icing up, taking Advil Dual. Mm-hmm. So we're getting there. I'm still a little stiff and a little tender.
So we're just happy that Annette's back.
Of course, my chiropractor, I thought it was going to be a really good story for him, but he had another client that topped me. It was a stripper pole story.
Accident.
So,
yeah, your garbage bag isn't as cool as the stripper pole story.
It's not.
But we're happy you're back, even if you're stiff and moving a little slow. Couldn't do the show without you. I mean, we have done it without you once. We had to have a wrestling guy come in. But other than that,
it takes a wrestling guy to replace me.
It wasn't as much fun, I'll tell you that much. People are chiming in saying they picked up their LP at 160, 120 on low out and stuff. So.
Yeah, with the Bluetooth speaker, because those are, 160 now?
Yeah.
I think they're running.
So.
Cool.
Prices just keep going up every time, you look back at what you bought. Man, I got it cheap. Everything is that way. Mm-hmm. Scam sites.
Yeah, this is something huge need to talk about today, which I just found out when I came in.
It's been a trend that's been going on for at least the last year, I would say, pretty heavily. And it's not just in the record world, although I see it. I'm very involved in the pinball machine and the coin op world, as well as the stereo equipment and vinyl records world. And scam sites have really become a nuisance. And
are you strictly talking eBay scam sites or scam sites over the entire?
Overall.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a newer thing. But we'll start with what happened to us today. So this morning, bright and early, our eBay guy calls me and says, "Hey, look at this message. There's a eBay store, and it's called Toad Hill Records. In Rockford, Illinois."
Yeah, he showed me the banner.
And it mirrors our items, but it has only 7,000 items. Ours has 13,000 items. So it wasn't everything we had, but it was a different URL for our page. Mm-hmm. So we contacted eBay, said, "Hey, what's going on? What is this?" They didn't know. They've escalated it. We'll be hearing from their team probably later today. So we're like, okay, well, they said there's nothing hooked up to it. Then about an hour later, someone tries to sign into our eBay from like Boston, Massachusetts. So we quickly changed all our passwords, took care of that before anything got out of hand. But I think this is kind of something that's going on in a larger part of the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously eBay has our back. Our websites, you guys know, it didn't have our logo on it. It just had a name. It was kind of a generic version of our eBay store.
It did have a picture of a record store, but anybody that's been in this group and knows what this store looks like, and that store was definitely not this store.
Oh, it was a different store? I didn't see the picture.
Oh, yeah.
It was a different store?
There was a different, mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, it was, it didn't have our branding. It didn't have the right URL. It was Toad Hill Records. I mean, anybody who wasn't paying attention could miss it, but anybody who would look twice, you wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
So that was on eBay. So that's the first time that's ever happened to us. The larger scams that are out there that we're seeing are, and I see them on Facebook. My favorite one is, "Oh, look at this Beatle mono box set, $89.99. That mono box is going for over $1,000 these days.
Yeah.
And you look at the URL and it's some crazy store or website, web address you've never heard of. And just be careful out there. Obviously, some people are like, "Well, $50, I'll try it. $80, I'm going to try it." You're not going to get anything.
If it sounds too good to be true,
it is.
It is too good to be true.
And it's very, very common right now. In the pinball world, this has been happening for about 9 months now. Where they'll take a semi-legitimate name like pinballsforsale.com, and they won't be an authorized distributor. They'll put a really good store together, get some good photos. I mean, pinball machines, they're like $9,000.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not missing 50, 80, $100. You're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. And the pinball community has done a really great job to compile all the fake sites, compile all the fake sellers. I would assume somewhere, somehow, the record community will probably do something similar. It's a lot harder to track when you're talking about because it's a lower price target.
Right.
They move faster and there's more of them. And it's a bigger community. The record community is bigger than the coin op industry.
Yeah.
But it's happening not just to them, it's happening across the internet.
I mean, there's scams everywhere,
is.
unfortunately. If any of you don't know the website, Snopes.com. It's a great website, snopes.com. I refer to it quite often a lot of times to introduce somebody to it to say, listen, no, this is a scam that you're talking about and you need to delve further into it.
Yeah.
Don't just go on somebody's word. Like somebody posted in one of my groups yesterday about Social Security saying this person, they overpaid a person in 2014. Well, Social Security doesn't make, this was supposedly an email or something. And if you go on and check stuff like that, you'll find out that they're only going to contact you a certain way. Contact these places.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
Unfortunately, and you really have to be vigilant.
Yep, you really have to be careful. Check, the website's address, their URL. We're hosted here in Rockford, or Loves Park, Illinois, which is basically Rockford. Oh, sorry about this, guys. We're hosted locally. All our addresses locally. Google reviews.
Right.
Everything should line up. If you're looking at a new website, be sure to do your homework a little bit. Usually there's red flags.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll say that it's in Texas and the hosting's the Google says it's in New Jersey, or, there's there's almost always red flags. So just be careful. Fake sites, obviously the phone calls, Social Security stuff, that's been happening for a long time.
Yeah.
But these new fake retail stores are getting sneaky. They're stealing photos off Facebook. They're making Facebook accounts. They're making fake.
And Yuri just said that they're using videos from
YouTube vloggers, unboxing records, didn't know they were aware of it. So it makes it look legit, but it's not for $80. So yeah, you really got to be careful. Like I said, they're getting smart. And they're always adapting. Obviously, dig a little deeper before you buy. If you've never bought from them, look into their socials. Look into how long have they been around? How long has the store been around? How long has the Facebook page been around? Where are they from? Sometimes the Facebook page will say Canada and they're in LA. There's always red flags. Our stuff is always Rockford, Illinois. It's always right. Everything should be lined up for us. So, but again, obviously, we're not the only source. We want to support all local record stores, not just ourselves. And we just wanted you guys to be aware that it's a big, big time thing right now.
Yeah.
So, well, should we get into Blue Note? And that's got a nice Blue Note piece. We should get into the Blue Note piece.
Because I got some new Blue Note gear, so I had to do Blue Note. So I got the hat. Actually, I bought the hat for Paul, but I'm wearing it today. I got a lovely long sleeve T-shirt that says I can't turn too well. The finest in jazz since 1939. So I just decided there's so much about Blue Note out there, and this happens with my shows every time. It's like, where do I go? Where do I start? How do I pick out just some main information that I'd like to share? Well, Blue Note was founded in 1939 by, I've got a couple names in my head. I am going to have to refer to my notes because I'm not sure which one started where at what time. So, established in 1939 by a German emigre from Berlin, Alfred Lyon, and American musician and writer Max Margulis. I hope I'm saying that correctly. They decide, and then Francis Wolff comes into the story eventually as well. I was watching the Lee Morgan show on Netflix. I think it was the Lee Morgan show, and Alfred Lyon and Francis Wolff were referred to as the Animal Brothers. Something, because one has the last name Lyon, one has the last name Wolff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun. They originally, the label was originally dedicated to recording traditional jazz and small group swing on 78 RPM shellac.
Oh yeah, 1939 would have
Right.
been 78s.
And then 47 on, the label began to switch to the modern jazz that it's known for
Okay.
in these days. The initial recording was a 78 RPM single by Boogie Woogie pianist Mead Lux Lewis and Albert Ammons. I thought we had a copy of that as a reissue, but what we found was actually this one, just Albert
That's the
Ammons
second
here.
one.
And this is BL, I don't know if you can see it on here.
2?
Yeah, it's BL2. Oh, BN02, so it's Blue Note 02. This is the second release ever on Blue Note Records.
They reissued these for Record Store Day a couple years back. This is from Record Store Day 2014.
Yeah.
But it was probably records the year prior. They did the first release. You can still find it on the eBay or on, like, we're out of it, but you can still find them. They're not expensive, but we still have the second ever release Blue Note that Annette's talking about. This is Albert Ammons. They look just like this. The other one looks just like this, but it'll be Blue Note 1, and it'll see Mead Lux Lewis. We had them, but obviously
we did have them. That's why, and I couldn't remember when I was doing this yesterday. So I mean, I don't know how many jazz people are out here today listening to this, but Blue Note is just like a who's who when it comes to Blue Note. So. I mean, we're talking Miles Davis, John Coltrane, T. Monk, Thelonious Monk, Lee Morgan, Art Blakey, Wayne Shorter, Ornette Coleman, Horace Silver, Sonny Rollins, Kenny Burrell, Grant Green, Dexter Gordon. The list just goes on and on and on.
So how did these guys get founded? Are it just the two of them, and then they found all these artists, or
they would go to clubs.
Them? Okay.
And pick out certain, if they liked it, they would pull them in, and a lot of the albums you'll see, they'll show a specific artist, but if you look into it more, all these guys, depending on what era it was and what age, they collabed with each other.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a specific, like Wayne Shorter. I don't know if he's still alive or not. I know he's been really involved in these last couple of years talking about Blue Note, but you might have Dexter Gordon as the headliner on one, and then you're going to have some different artists.
Yeah, because they all need a band. I mean, they need the rest of the. Might be John Coltrane, but you need the rest of the group together.
Right, and so they would just all come together in different varieties. So let's see. Then we had between 56 and 67. There was a graphic designer, Reed Miles, in tandem with Francis Wolff, who was the main photographer.
Okay. That's why you have all those cool covers.
Yes.
Those really, iconic covers. The photo, and it'll be, graphically designed nice.
Right. And so they gave the label the striking and memorable cover art, which helped make Blue Note the coolest of record labels. And as I was researching this, I did see Francis Wolff, I believe, has... Within the last couple of years, there's been a book released with a lot of his photographs that have never been released before.
Wow.
Yeah, so, for instance, let's see if I can...
Yeah, stuff like that.
So here's the Lee Morgan, The Cooker. It's a great album, by the way. And you'll see on the back that there's more pictures down below. So these would have most likely been taken by Francis Wolff, where you have that.
I like it. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
see, I'm learning something today, too.
Yeah, pretty cool. And
that's Francis Wolff right there on the cover.
Francis Wolff, where?
Signed right here.
Oh, cool!
I didn't signature right on the front.
Oh, look at that! Would you
look at that? They always have a signature.
I don't know. No.
It was Reed Miles and Francis Wolff. Reed Miles
is the one that designed the
like the lettering and stuff.
Yeah, like the label, I believe.
Okay.
From the label, and of course, because
no other covers look like these.
No.
Guys. I mean, you see this cover, it's a Blue Note. I mean, you're flipping through records, you see that, you're like, that's Blue Note.
So you'll know the answer to this. What recording engineer recorded the most Blue Note releases? I believe it's on the front of that cover.
Rudy Van Gelder.
Rudy Van Gelder from 53 until the late 60s. Late 60s probably because Blue Note was sold to Liberty Records in 1966
Okay.
through 1970. From 70 to 79, the catalog was brought under United Artists Recording,
Okay.
though not without a struggle between UA and the former Liberty management. From 79 until present day, they're under EMI.
Okay.
EMI purchased United Artists Records in 79, thereby acquiring the Blue Note catalog. So they've been through a couple different
Ownership changes.
ownerships through the year. Blue Note catalog laid largely dormant domestically until 85, when it was relaunched as part of EMI Manhattan Records.
Okay.
Yeah. Just as many Blue Note albums are considered among the finest of jazz recordings. In the 9th edition of the Penguin Guide to Jazz, 8 out of 80 total are Blue Notes. 213 recordings given status of core collection, 27 are on Blue Note. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they're a big chunk of the jazz
And
world.
Blue Notes are just becoming, highly collectible now. Some are for listening pleasure. Some people collect them for
Originals, or trying to find the, impossible to find stuff.
yeah. So they'll collect them and not open them and try to make a profit somewhere down the road on some of these. In 1960s, the average price. What do you think the average price of a Blue Note record was in the 1960s?
$2.99.
$4.98.
$4.98.
$4.98. Yeah. There's a couple documentaries out there that you can watch if you're interested in this. Eric Friedler's It Must Be Schwing, the Blue Note story, and Sophie Huber's Blue Note Records Beyond the Notes. Now, currently, the president, and Nick had a big yawn, he's hiding it behind the record. Don Was is currently the president of Blue Note Records. So I pulled this one out.
Don Was?
Yeah. He was with the band Was Not.
Really?
Yeah. In the 80s, I think it was.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, was not. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And he was
He's president?
primarily, oh yeah, primarily a bass player. He was in the funk rock band Was Not. In 2012, he became the president of the jazz music label Blue Note Records.
Well, he's doing a good job.
He's won 4 Grammy Awards. He served as a music director and/or consultant for several motion pictures. He also produced the B-52's Cosmic Thing album.
Which is very popular.
Yeah. So the story was that was telling that he in 2012, Blue Note was at risk of being closed down and turned into an archive-only label. So his quote was, it was a total accident. I was having breakfast with an old friend who was president of Capitol Records, which headed up Blue Note, and I suggested they should sign Gregory Porter, which we happen to have one of his albums right in the store.
How about that?
Don said that he'd seen him the night before and he blew him away. He had no idea they were looking for someone to take over for Blue Note. So he claims that anyone who would walk in with an idea that day was going to get the job.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, I'm assuming that's a factual story. It came as a quote out of his mouth. So he got the job because he suggested something. And since then, he's been president ever since from that. Yeah. And he says he'd spent his life up to that point trying to avoid having a real job, but this was too irresistible to turn down. So, and if you've ever watched any of his stuff, he's a character.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, Don Was. He's definitely a character.
So he's in charge of signing Greg Porter.
Yeah, way back when. So what did it say? 2012.
Well, it's not like that far ago.
I
10 years ago.
Not sure. This is actually a release from this year,
Brand new.
2021. So, and
That's a used copy. What do we got there? Bird and the Bee. That's 2021 also.
Yeah, $26 on that.
26.
So if you're into jazz, yeah, swing. And the story behind swing was that who was it that couldn't say that? It was one of the oh, so it was Alfred Lion couldn't say swing because of his German accent.
Ah.
And so it came out as swing.
It didn't come out of Wayne's World?
No, it didn't come out of Wayne's World. So that's why they said with his thick German accent he pronounced it swing.
Swing.
Yeah,
That's
so
funny.
that's
Cool.
how that little part of it came about.
Got a question here. Seth is asking, do you guys think the vinyl collecting bubble will burst anytime soon like baseball cards in the 80s, or is it going to go on strong permanently?
Going on strong.
I think, well, there's no doubt that it's going to go in the short term. There's no stop because there's too much demand. There's so little supply that even if it dropped, it would still go on strong for the short term. We're talking 2 to 3 years. Mm-hmm. No sweat there. If it dropped, interest dropped, the people who collect vinyl are probably still going to collect vinyl because we had people who were collecting vinyl through the 90s when people collected when it wasn't popular. So it had support even in the darkest of times. There was still support. So I don't think it's going to drop entirely. I don't foresee that happen. I mean, they've been asking. My mom's been saying this for a decade. Well, bubble's going to burst. Bubble's going to burst. It's gone nowhere but up for 14, 15, 16 years. So.
And wasn't it last year that vinyl finally outsold CDs? Or was it?
Vinyl outsold CDs.
Yeah.
But the bigger story here is that even though we're selling so many million records a year, and if you look at the bigger picture, we could be at the tip of the iceberg. If you look at the amount of music that's purchased and listened to in this country and among the world, it could, if they can ramp up production enough, we could grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and almost indefinitely. I mean, I can get it. We can do a whole show about it, but in the macro of it, they're still producing so little. There's so much demand that it won't happen. Vinyl is too hard to make. It's too hard to manufacture, so it creates a natural holdback and it creates demand that it won't happen anytime soon. That's not to say it could. People could make 20 factories and production could go crazy and then it slow down.
Right.
It's a supply and demand thing, but it's not going to change for years.
I just read about a new pressing plant, and now I cannot remember. Well, I read about it in the last couple of days, so I can't remember. In the States here somewhere, but that's about the best I can give you because I don't remember where it was. I want to say some southeast somewhere.
Yeah.
Vinyl Beanie Babies.
So I don't see it. I don't see the bubble bursting per se like that. The one thing I do see that will slow down is the flipping. That bubble will burst.
Okay. Why do you think that?
If you're a regular buyer and you buy a record and you have in your collection for 6-8 years, you paid 26 for this record. Well, look at now it's 37. So yeah, your collection will go up in value slowly over time. The flipping market is going to get tighter as they produce more because it's based on things being out of stock.
Supply and demand.
So it's really strictly, it's right now supply and demand. So right now, this record, there's only so many of these produced. Mm-hmm. If you buy up 10 of them and you sell them one by one on eBay, once they start cranking them out faster, there's more chance that I will restock before they sell all 10 of theirs.
Okay.
So their window is going to get smaller. It's going to get harder for them to flip them. Their margins are going to cut, and eventually the flippers will say, to hell with this. It's not worth it. I'm not making anything. So the flipping window, where people are buying up in bulk and then they're slowly letting them out, it's going to get harder and more niche. You have to get certain titles.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like anything. Like you can buy like anything and hang on to it because they can't supply it fast enough. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to ramp up. Everyone's ramping up production. That will slow down, but that'll be your first hint when the flipping window starts to slow down. That's the first hint that production is ramping up. Supply is filling in and cutting that off. Right now, it's not changing, unfortunately. Flippers still have a nice window here.
And there are some machines being rehabbed, I guess, for lack of a better word, right now that will hopefully help ramp up the production. I'm not sure how soon they're going to be done, and that's obviously through Acoustic Sounds that Chad had bought.
Yeah.
How many different pressing?
He keeps finding those machines
Keeps
and
finding
cleaning them
machines.
up.
One of them was from Chicago.
Yeah, he found a bunch in
Yeah,
Chicago.
so it's a matter of, and a lot of them are going to have to be retrofitted, from my understanding, with custom-made parts, because
Yeah.
obviously that stuff's not available. So, I mean, it's not just like you can go to the
Store.
to the record pressing plant store, like you can go buy a car. Well, when
Yeah.
cars were available, and just buy one. They're not something that you can just go do that with.
Yeah, people are saying, constant rise in price will definitely hurt the general buyers. I thought that too. As I always complain that I, as a store, would rather see every record $25 because I make my money off volume. I don't make it off, like I make $5 on a $25 record. I make $5 on a $50 record. So if you have $100 in your pocket, I now sell 2 instead of 4. I make less money. Mm-hmm. It's not good for stores. It's not good for buyers. But the prices are increasing on everything, and
Yeah.
we can get into wages going up and everything. But the bigger problem is inflation, and I honestly haven't really seen the slowdown. I figured 15-year-olds coming in and buying rap records at $30, $40 would slow down. It's accelerated.
It has.
So, I don't know. I don't know why that is. I will say that in more inexpensive records, I do obviously move more of them. I quantity-wise, I push more of them. But I don't see a slowdown in higher-end records either. Mm-mm. So I don't know why.
Well, I think what's, in that aspect, maybe, instead of, for an example, the prices are going up. So instead of me buying 5 albums this month, I may pick the 4 that I really want.
Correct.
And, maybe help out that way.
And also, we pay more in trade-in now, too.
Yeah.
So now that records are more expensive, we do pay more in trade and more in credit. So it's kind of the same, just a higher dollar amount. Like you buy it new, it's more, but then you trade it in, you get more. So I don't know. It's a debate.
A couple good.
International shipping is a problem from
Yeah.
Discogs. Yeah, shipping they put a filter on the Discogs shipping the U.S. Yeah, it's.
Mm-hmm. And like Amos said I like what he said about throwback days when label heads actually liked music. Might as well be selling toasters.
Yeah.
Today. And which is true. I mean, it's not even just in the record industry. That's all over the place. You get that same
luckily,
situation.
Blue Note isn't one of them.
No.
Luckily,
it's not.
Blue Note, we have the right guy on the president, and he's putting out. Guys, if you're starting to collect jazz records, I know a lot of the people on here are not new to record collecting,
right,
but maybe new to collecting jazz or Blue Notes. This is the best time ever to collect Blue Note and jazz records. Ever.
And another label that you might want to check out if you're thinking about this is Prestige.
Yep. They are making these Tone Poet Blue Note series. They sound phenomenal.
They do.
They're pressed very well. They're pressed by the best in the business. And they're only $37. If you went to find an original of these in good shape, you're spending hundreds. Easy. If you can find one. There's more coming out. Some of these records on Tone Poet, they said they've sold more new current day than they did when they came out in 1960 something.
I believe that.
So we're getting a phenomenal product and a great package at a great price. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can complain about $37, but you're not going to find an original for $37.
No.
You may not find an original at all.
Right.
Let alone if you find one, you're going to be probably paying $370 for it. So and we have the Tone Poets. We have the Blue Note Classic series, which is a little cheaper.
There's
27 instead of 37.
There's also the Blue Note 75.
80th.
Well, the 80th
there's a
and
75th, but there's an
75th, and I'm trying to think, and that just goes according to the anniversary of the 1939 establishment of Blue Note.
And the 80th series is analog. This is analog. You guys got a lot of great options out there. We're just kind of flipping through some of these. Look at these covers. Another Reed Miles cover. This is Dolphy Out to Lunch. This is $27.
And we've got Horace Silver, 6 pieces of silver, also 27. Blue Note 1539, so it would have been the 1,539th record issued. I believe is how they did their cataloging back then.
Look at that art. Look at that graphic design art. And again, $27. Guys, I sell a lot of these Blakeys.
Yeah.
I mean, we were pretty much sell out of these almost every week.
Yep. Here, Herbie Hancock.
This is Herbie Hancock's first record, Maiden Voyage.
Maiden Voyage.
Highly recommend it if you're into easy listening jazz. It's phenomenal.
Jimmy Smith.
Yeah, I like the questions, guys. Thanks for the questions, Seth, Derek. Good job, guys. I appreciate
the questions
that.
and the information you're providing to us as well.
Yeah, it's always, I love doing that. That's what I love about this show is the interaction between the two of us. So always like the interaction.
Yeah, so there's just a
Donald Byrd.
little Donald Byrd.
That's a new.
Places and
It's kind of a newer one.
Yeah.
So great time to collect Blue Notes. There really isn't a bad one. They're inexpensive. It's a new golden era for jazz collecting for sure. Because we're getting a lot of newer people into it. Obviously, with all the new people coming into the hobby, people are making more records, and some of the Rob who works here, here's our jazz connoisseur. He just can't believe it.
Right.
He was been collecting since the mid '80s, and he remembers when vinyl died and how hard it was to find jazz records. And he still buys every jazz release because he's like, I want to support it. The more they sell, the more they're going to make, and it's working.
And I came into the jazz era during the CD era. So a lot of the stuff that I have, I still have on CD. But it was newer than a lot of this stuff. I mean, right here, just talking about some of the different things. You've got Reuben Wilson here with Love Bug. You got Lee Morgan, Grant Green, so talking about how they all collabed together and came together to support each other.
Yeah. Great time to collect jazz records. Check them out. If you are just getting into jazz, you can't really go wrong with a Blue Note. Just be a little careful because if you're new to jazz, that jazz did change.
Oh yeah.
In 1965, 4 or 5-ish. It got very avant-garde after that, and before that it was very smooth and easy listening. So,
yeah, and everybody has their own opinion, their own liking.
Yeah.
Take a listen to it somewhere, see if you like it. I mean,
just know that if you listen to Miles Davis or John Coltrane, you're like, oh, it was terrible. Well, maybe you'll listen to a later one, or maybe you'll listen to an early one and you like the later, vice versa. Just know that there is a big split in jazz, early and later. 60, just say 65, pre-65, post-65. Change is totally different.
Yeah, and I threw a couple of links up in the beginning of the conversation.
Yeah, put some in the chat, and that's got some links. I see Michael's talking about Facebook suggested ads. Have been crazy with scams, selling vinyl for a third of the price. No way. Yes, I've gotten them. I've also seen one that was like the record store's going out of business. Everything's half off. Check out our website. And they steal a picture from a legitimate record store and pop it in there. But then the legitimate record store's in Chicago and they're selling it out of Arizona. So yeah, it's the Facebook suggested ads have been bad for that. So yes, I'm glad you brought that up because I've seen the same thing. I looked at them. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like somebody is getting taken. So
hey, I think everybody everybody listening today is probably smarter than your average bear. So.
But it's good to maybe they can share the word, spread the word a little too.
Yeah.
Because you guys watch the show and you buy vinyl and the places, but this hobby doesn't grow alone. You have to welcome in people into the hobby, and that's when a hobby dies, when people are assholes to the new people. So every one of you out there probably know 5 people who have just gotten into it, and helping them grows the hobby, which means that we all get more records and we all get more options. Mm-hmm. And the more they make, hopefully the prices will eventually settle down. It will slow down a little bit as production goes up. Mm-hmm. If production's always slower, there's less demand, or higher demand, lower production, prices will keep going up. So bringing new people in the hobby, informing them, helping them, sharing our channel, sharing our Facebook page, all that little info and help that you can help someone becoming the hobby will grow the hobby and give all of us more options. So it's a good thing.
Knowledge is power.
Yep, and if it doesn't grow, it dies. So, all right.
What you got next on the list? You got
some new arrivals? We got scam websites. I've got new vinyl. Let's talk about some trade-ins I've gotten in. We haven't done any
What'd you get for trade-ins?
We got some cool trade-ins. So this one, Fate's Warning, 180 gram. It's brown vinyl, 2 LP set, $30. I think this has been around the store for a minute, but I don't think I've talked about it. Metal Blade Records. Look at that. It's like
I just like that.
It's like a brownish orange.
It looks like a planet.
It kind of does.
Yeah. That's cool.
I got them on an 80s kick. people were talking about stuff. And
Oh. Chris, you don't have to be sorry you're not a jazz fan.
it's not for everybody.
No.
This was traded in this week. Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time, mint with the inner sleeve. I got $50 on it. Guy was buying a turntable this week.
Mint
Traded
minus
this in. Oh yeah, this record's like perfect. Yeah, this one is perfect. $50. It's got the original inner liner sleeve. Look at those guys.
Wow.
Maiden, Somewhere in Time. Rush, first record. Rush has been really hot lately.
Have they?
Yes, I don't know. I mean, I know there's a pinball machine coming, but they can't be the only reason they're hot right now. Here's the first one, master disc, first press. Look, it's got even the original sleeve. BG Plus vinyl. Before Neil Peart joined the band.
Really?
Yep, they did one record before he joined. They had a different drummer on
And
the
it was
first
that
record.
one, huh?
It was, yeah, this is it. This is the first one.
Oh, I didn't
His
know
name
that.
was John Rustley. Rutsey. Rutsey. John
Rutsey.
Rutsey.
Okay.
They're Canadian. I say sorry.
Oh, now you're making fun of the Canadians.
I
We
would
might
never.
have some on
I
the
love the
show here.
Canadians, but they say sorry a lot, and that's fine.
Sorry.
Sorry.
And
making fun of me.
vote.
That's Wisconsin. We get a whole show about that too. Anvil, hard and heavy. This was traded in with that, record perfect. This looks like this label looks like an import.
It does look like an import,
It
doesn't
says, I can't even read, France. It's French.
it? Ooh.
But it's not expensive, guys. We got $15 on it. That's going to go fast. That's not going to last long. And I got some Para Ubu signed records.
Huh.
These came out of a collection I had a while ago. Whoop.
Yeah.
Para Ubu. This one is signed. I got a couple of them are signed. This
Yep.
one's signed, a double sign on the back.
This one's signed on
This
the
one's
back.
signed.
Look at
If you're
this
into Para Ubu.
45 RPM EP. It was 199 sterling pound, I believe is. So this should probably be an import too. If they're showing the prices being in pounds on here, obviously.
They were saying rust color on that first record.
Yeah, I would go rust with that
Brown.
one.
Yeah, the sticker says brown, but it's definitely like a rust.
Huh.
People are saying I need that Clockwork Angels rush. I need like all the rush.
Yep,
I think we only have one new rush record.
Right.
Everything's awaiting repress. Like pretty much all the records we need right now.
This is UK press,
Yeah.
obviously.
Para Ubu, not
And-
everyone's bag, but I got some unique signed ones. And it's $40, like for a signed record. For a band that's as hard to find as Para Ubu, it's, that seems fair. I rarely see those, even unsigned. How about Mo Tucker, Velvet Underground's drummer? 45 RPM, $50 signed. It is signed. It's signed right here in the up there. This was traded in this week.
Oh, wow.
Deadpool soundtrack, signed, colored vinyl, $60. Now this one I found out was was sold either on a website or something because there was a lot of them that had this signature.
Okay.
Sealed ones were going in the 100 range. This one's opened, but it's also a really cool colored vinyl. If you're into Deadpool or any of the Marvel stuff, which we always are around here because half of our shop is comic books.
Ooh.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Signed by the guy who did the soundtrack. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, obviously not Deadpool.
No.
Yeah. Kind of hard to sign when you're a fictional character. But yeah, that's another kind of a cool. I didn't realize that all the things I showed today were signed, but yeah, that just came in this week.
Oh,
Yeah,
so the
also-
music is by Tom Hulkenborg, a.k.a. Junkie XL.
Yeah, Junkie X. You could tell he signed it as Junkie XL.
Yep. That's how it's signed.
Other news. I didn't want to, like I said, we had a million things to talk about today, guys. But we haven't talked about our Valentine's Day packages. Some of you guys
yeah.
have been awesome. We have already sold a handful of them. They're selling decently. I'm actually pretty happy with how they've been selling because it's so early from Valentine's Day is now still a month away, pretty much. Well, not quite a month away. On our website, we're doing
I have a question about Deadpool. Why don't you grab that
Deadpool.
out
Grab
of there?
Deadpool out. Should you get that out? Is that the score then? People are asking if that's the score. Original picture, soundtrack. I think it's probably the score and the soundtrack.
I'm not. I just seen that soundtrack.
Yes. So it's both.
Okay.
So there's 6 songs from the movie. So it's got, DMX, Salt and Pepper,
Juice Newton.
and then the rest of the songs are interlaced as the score. So it's a mix. They probably did them in chronological order as the movie went through.
Oh.
They probably put, because I see DMX's towards the end. It's both. They combined it. They didn't split it. Some places will put the soundtrack and then the score.
Right.
They put it all together on the 2 discs. So yeah, Valentine's Day packages. We have 20 different options. You can send them to yourself, send them to someone you know, just as a gift. Their prices range from $30 to $98, I think, just under $100. And what you're going to get a little sweet treat, a card from us,
Now you're giving it all away, what they're getting.
a little sleeve, and then a mystery record or box set. Sometimes they're box sets. And then the description will give what's in the set. Like it'll say, classic rock icon solo record. Or it'll say this is a modern soul record that sounds like an 80s soul record. It'll give some hint as to what.
Right.
We're not going to tell you what the artist or the title or what it is. But we're going to give you some ideas so you could have a really good chance of buying something that you'll enjoy or the person you're buying for.
I'm going to try to drop the link in here if I can get our website to
And that's going to get the link up. Last week, we didn't quite have it live. So this is the first week that you can follow Annette's link and go right into the spot and buy whatever, whatever section you like. So it's kind of like a blind record draw, except
I'm not sure.
I think we're coming back up.
We need more tote bags to buy Nick a new camera. We might be back up now.
I think we're there.
Are we there now?
I think we're back. I think it dropped out. My camera. I have a new camera already. I bought it literally last week because this one is about done, and I don't have a stand for it. So stand's on its way. So we're working on it. I feel you guys on that. Okay, so Valentine's packages are available on the website. There's a new camera too. Which brings me to my next point, which is record draw. We're looking for ideas for blind record draw. How box
Yeah.
all sorts of difficulties. I think we're good now.
This is why I could never do this on my own because I'd be so frustrated.
Let me know if you have any issues again, guys. It's been kind of flaky all day today, too.
Sun.
Soundtracks, blind record draw. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you guys think? It'd be for February. I don't know. Pull together.
Oh, gone again.
Try it now. Mic check. Mic, check. Checking the mic. All right, we should be good now. We're just bypassing our wirelesses. Maybe that'll work.
I'm going to try to just go off the camera.
Yeah, we're just going to go off the camera. But at this point, we're just doing what we can to slap this thing going. Just to keep it going. Thanks, guys, for chiming in.
Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, soundtracks blind record draw, guys. We're thinking about doing that for February. If we get 4 or 5 people that really think that's a good idea, we'll probably do that. Or you have any other suggestions, let us know. What?
To learn sign language or get a bigger marker board.
Yeah, we're gonna need something for sure. I'm glad you guys have a good humor about this. We like that. We do enjoy that.
Yeah, well, I'll be up back there with the dry erase board and the
For
markers.
sure. And that's mainly the main part of the show, guys.
Yeah.
I had my mojo. The camera screwed up my flow. It really screwed me up. So yeah, blind record drop. Drop in your ideas. If you like the soundtrack idea, say, hey, I'm in for soundtracks. We got a lot of them. We got a lot of out of print stuff. We got a lot of rare stuff. I don't know. Soundtracks have been kind of pretty hot lately. So
I've always kind of liked soundtracks. I mean, you get a little variety of a lot of different things.
Sometimes scores are cool.
Scores.
Set the mood, put it in there. I dig it. I kind of dig the whole thing. So.
I mean, like Almost Famous. What a great soundtrack that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, ToadHallOnline.com is the website.
I'm cracking up at these guys' comments
what do you
today.
got?
They just ad-lib like the live shows in the 50s.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we do most of the time anyways. Oh, goodness. Oh, I love reading the comments.
Yeah, they're always fun. Toad Hall Online is the website.
Yeah. Phone number?
815-226-1259. We have new vinyl here, guys, but we're running out of time. We did get a batch of new vinyl on the website yesterday, the day when I was off.
Oh, nice.
So look, I got some Daft Punks, I got some Rome soundtracks. We got a whole crate. I was gonna go through them, and my camera botched me. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of fresh stuff on the website as of yesterday. A lot of restocks. It looks like there's some Depeche Mode we haven't had in forever. Radiohead and all sorts of good stuff. So you can head over to the website, check that out now. You're going to add a Valentine's Day package for yourself or your loved one.
Yeah, just when you... I did put the link in there. When you open it up, you can go down to the description area, and it will give you a little bit of information about what that specific package is. We did 20
different packages.
20 different packages.
And some of them we have a bunch of, and some of them we only have a couple of. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to do that so anybody who wanted one would get one. It wasn't like the blind record draw where it's going to sell out.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a ton of them so you guys get choice, whatever genre or price range or whatever you want, you can get in on the fun.
There's some good stuff in there, definitely.
And a lot of most of it's out of print in the Valentine's packages. Mm-hmm. Most of it you can't get new. Some of it you can. I'd say probably 15 or 16 of them are out of print items. So.
Mm-hmm. So, well, thanks for everybody's patience today. We certainly appreciate it. Hopefully the day will get a little better.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll reset our internet and we'll be here for you guys. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week.